Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Alex with Divi Theme Tutorials. In this video, I'm going to cover hosting fonts locally on your website. That includes Google Fonts. There's a couple reasons why I recommend doing this. One, I think it's going to load a little faster for you than having to reach out to Google Fonts and then have them serve the font files to your users. And the other is, at the time of this recording, and this may change in the future, there are some GDPR implications with using fonts served from Google Fonts, because anytime a visitor comes to your website and they load the Google font, their IP address is shared with the Google services, and that kind of muddies up the waters. And so I like to kind of avoid all that. If I can keep everything clean and compact on a site, that's usually my goal. So I'm going to show you how to do it here. It's pretty simple, and you don't have to, this isn't limited to just Google Fonts. If you purchase a font somewhere from another marketplace that you want to use, you can follow these same steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot over to Google Fonts here, and we're going to download a font. What I recommend doing is selecting this option here for variable. And the reason that you want to use a variable font is because in Divi we have these handy, when you're editing text, this handy font weight drop down: light, regular, semi-bold, bold, ultra bold. And if your font has other ones, other weights, then they will be listed here as well. Variable fonts have all the font weights together in one file, and so you can use that drop down and it will apply the correct weight. If you don't use a variable font and you just use a normal static font, with those, every font weight is broken down into its own font file, or its own file that contains that weight of the font. And so when you upload it to Divi, you're going to have to upload, 5 or 6 or more different files. And then when you want to change to an extra bold, you wouldn't use this, you would leave it on regular. You would just change the font that you're choosing, and you would set it to maybe Roboto Flex dash bold dash extra bold dash heavy, whatever. But you'd have to upload them all individually. So I always try to use variable fonts when possible, because it's just going to make your life easier, and you're going to be able to use those native features that are part of Divi. So let's say we want to do, I already have Roboto Flex up here, so let's do Poppins. I like Poppins. Poppins is not a variable font, evidently. Alright, so let's use a different one here. Let's go sans serif. And let's do, I like this Inter one. I'm going to do this one. Alright, so we'll download the font family. We're going to go ahead and extract. Okay, so now we've got our font file, and you'll see we only have the one font file because, again, it's a variable font. Alright, so now we can jump back over here to Divi, and for font we're going to hit upload, and we'll name our font. Whoops. Actually, I'll just drag since I've got that folder open already. Now what's going to happen when you do this, you're going to hit upload, and it's going to give you an error message. And it's going to say, sorry, you are not allowed to upload this file type. This isn't a restriction in Divi. This is a WordPress restriction, because of there's certain file types that WordPress allows you to upload, and certain ones it doesn't. And the TTF and the OTF are ones that are blocked by default on WordPress. So what you want to do is you want to go into your public folder for your site, where you have your WP admin, your WP content includes. Right now I'm working on local by Flywheel, so these are local on my computer. If you are working on a remote site, then you'll want to use either the file manager at your web host, or if you have an FTP client like CyberDuck or FileZilla, you'll want to use that to download your WP config file. But this is the file you want to edit. And in there, you're going to want to scroll down, and this is the line that you want to add. By default, this isn't here. It will look something like this. And so what you want to do is add this allow unfiltered uploads, and you're going to set it to true. Once you're done uploading your font, you'll want to remove this. It's not that big of a deal if you don't let anybody create accounts on your website, if it's like a small business website. But if you have a website where people are able to upload things, like such as any type of social media site that you've created, or community or membership site where people can upload things like profile pictures and stuff, you're going to want to make sure you remove this or set this to false, because you don't want people uploading things that aren't going through WordPress's native filtering and security practices for uploads. So anyway, it's define, allow unfiltered uploads, all caps, no spaces with underscores, and you're going to set the value to true. Save that, and then when we come back here, we can click upload again, and you'll see that it will go through. There we go. Now we can use the enter font, and you'll see that we've got all of our font weights here. This one happens to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different weights associated with it. So we can set it to thin, which is pretty darn thin, all the way up to heavy. See, so we can use these natively in here. So that's why you want to make sure you use a variable font when possible. And then again, once we're done, we're going to pop back into our WP config file. We're going to remove that line or set it to false, just for security purposes, and then you should be good to go. You can go and use the fonts however you want. So yeah, that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.